My treasured child, I understand intimately the burdens that have rested upon your shoulders through these seasons of waiting. I have witnessed those sleepless nights when you lay contemplating why the breakthrough you so desperately sought seemed to remain just beyond your grasp. You have weathered extended periods of anticipation, moments when you felt invisible or perhaps even abandoned, while observing the world around you seemingly advancing with effortless momentum. But listen carefully to my voice in this present moment, for the season of postponement is approaching its divinely appointed conclusion. This day that unfolds before you is not merely another ordinary passage of time. Rather, it represents the precise hour when a sacred revelation, a divine confirmation, shall cross the threshold into your reality. I urge you not to allow the weariness accumulated from past experiences, nor the doubts that have gradually infiltrated your thoughts to cloud your spiritual perception. What approaches you now arrives in ways you may not anticipate, through channels and messengers you may not expect. Clinging too tightly to previous expectations about how I work or whom I choose to use could cause you to overlook the very manifestation you have longed to witness. Your breakthrough is not a distant hope relegated to some far-off future. It has arrived, carrying with it a restoration that far exceeds anything your imagination could have conceived. You must perceive it with eyes that have been cleansed from yesterday's disappointments and freed from the limitations of past experiences. Listen with heightened attention, beloved one. A time of profound significance draws near. Something of tremendous importance is about to be entrusted to your care. This is not a fleeting moment or a simple word that will dissipate into memory. Consider it instead as a sacred token, an unmistakable sign emanating from my presence, carrying understanding and revelation that will completely transform how you perceive your life's path, your identity, and the purpose you were created to fulfill. What you once believed to be certain will be questioned and re-examined. What you accepted as your limitations will dissolve entirely. You stand now at the threshold of a great unveiling, a divine revelation that demands not merely passive observation, but active participation, decisive choices, and bold steps into something far beyond your highest aspiration. These words I speak to you carry tremendous weight and significance. This moment in time is unlike any other you have experienced. It is not a brief event to be overlooked or dismissed casually. Rather, it represents a vital convergence point where your journey thus far intersects with everything that is yet to unfold in your destiny. The divine selection process. Not all souls are chosen to hear these particular words at this specific time, but you, my child, have been deliberately selected. You have been singled out and prepared through seasons of sorrow, through extended periods of apparent darkness, through waiting that at times felt endless and overwhelming. Now my dwelling place itself opens its doors to you. This occurs not by random chance or coincidence, but by a purpose that was declared and established before the foundations of the world were laid. The stillness you sensed in recent times was not indicative of my absence from your life. Rather, it represented the gathering and accumulation of strength for this coming manifestation of my presence. I call upon you to stir others around you. Inform them that now is not the time for hesitation or holding back. You are living through a moment where every choice carries lasting consequences that will reverberate through time. This is the announcement of a great legacy, not merely earthly gain or material advancement, but a spiritual birthright that was once concealed, once held back by opposing forces, once buried under layers of deception and falsehood, the restoration of what was hidden. But now, at this appointed time, it is being restored to its rightful place. Do you comprehend, beloved, that there are blessings and benefits that dark forces have attempted to keep from you for an extended period? There are assurances and promises they have tried to erase from your consciousness through inflicting hurts, creating setbacks, and orchestrating times when you nearly surrendered hope entirely. But I, the one who keeps my word with unwavering faithfulness, have not forgotten a single promise I made to you. What belongs to you by divine right, though it has been delayed and held up by opposition, will not be taken away or denied any longer. You stand now at a crucial turning point in your spiritual journey. What is arriving will not come gently or subtly. It will manifest like a powerful sound, like a mighty current that clears away all obstacles, all pretense, and all excuses that have been holding you back. This divine intervention will require you to make a definitive choice. Will you cling to what belongs to the past because fear has made you comfortable with limitation? Or will you open your spirit wide to welcome what is new because you trust in my character and my plans for you? Will you hesitate, thinking the blessing too wonderful to be authentic? Or will you receive it with confidence, knowing that I, your loving Father, speak only what is certain and true, the inner witness of divine truth? Be alert and attentive, my beloved one. Pay careful attention to what is stirring within your inner being at this very moment. Do you sense something awakening inside you? Is your heart quickening its pace, as if your spirit recognizes truth, even when your rational mind finds it difficult to fully comprehend? That quickening is the confirmation and assurance from my spirit bearing witness with your spirit. You are not encountering these words by mere chance or coincidence. This represents a direct intervention from my presence at this critical juncture in your life. Some souls were alerted to this moment yet chose to disregard the divine summons. Some individuals were warned beforehand but remained paralyzed by uncertainty and doubt. They missed the specific window of time that was designated for their breakthrough. I urge you not to allow that same fate to befall you. Do not let your natural quietness become an unspoken agreement with fear. Speak to me directly. Position yourself in readiness as you wait expectantly. Seal off any pathway that I did not create, and make space within your spirit to welcome what I am preparing to bring into your life. The awakening of divine purpose. A purpose that has been dormant is about to spring to life. A restrictive period is about to conclude. A passage that dark forces have kept sealed shut for an extended time will now open wide because the divinely appointed time has arrived. You have grown strong and resilient through navigating challenges. You have proven faithful in small matters and lesser responsibilities. Now, a larger portion, a greater stewardship, will be placed in your care. This increase comes not for you to hide away or hoard for yourself alone, but to utilize for the benefit of others and to touch and transform lives around you. The legacy that is approaching you represents more than mere provision or material blessing. It serves as my assurance that you are the rightful recipient of what I planned for you from the beginning. You carry the heritage of one who is meant to alter the trajectory of a family line and to shape the narrative of an entire generation. My beloved, soon now this gift will arrive in your life. It might come through someone you already know and trust. It might appear in a way that seems ordinary or commonplace on the surface. But the manner of its arrival is not what holds significance. What matters supremely is how prepared you are to receive it when it comes. The divine appointment. Remember that this is not the result of random chance or fortunate circumstance. This represents a divine appointment, a meeting point between my sovereign will and your willingness to receive. If you are properly prepared in heart and spirit, then no force in heaven or earth, no shadow or opposition, can possibly prevent what I am about to reveal and release into your life. I tell you now with utmost urgency, make yourself ready. Stand up with confidence. Clear the entrance to your spirit from anything that does not belong there, from thoughts filled with doubt and unbelief, from patterns of holding back and shrinking away from your destiny. For I am drawing near to you. My presence is moving in your direction, and your appointed time is ready to flourish and bloom. Stand strong, my beloved one, not in fear but in trust, not in uncertainty but in sacred readiness. What is coming will not merely change you as an individual. It will transform everything that surrounds and encompasses your life. The divine witness to your struggles. My precious child, you have not walked alone through your struggles and challenges. I witnessed every instance when you were disappointed by those you depended upon for support. I observed each moment when you searched for answers and responses but found only silence. Not from me, but from those you believed would stand with you in your time of need. I saw each season when you waited with patience for my word to manifest itself in tangible ways. Even as circumstances seemed to move slowly, even as everything appeared concealed and set aside, as though your journey had somehow deviated from my perfect design and plan. But my child, understand this fundamental truth. Nothing has escaped my notice or attention. Everything has been carefully recorded and remembered. Nothing you have worked through or endured has been regarded as insignificant or small in my sight. Now, at the precisely right time, something that was deliberately kept hidden in shadow is about to be brought forth into the light of day. The sacred nature of what approaches. What I am preparing to place in your care has been established in truth, sealed by my authority, guarded by the strength of my presence, and was withheld from you only by the envy and opposition present in the unseen spiritual realm. But that season of withholding is concluded. It will now be released and set free into your hands. Beloved child, know this truth with certainty. What is approaching represents more than merely a gift or blessing. It signifies a sacred opening, a fundamental shift in the spiritual realm, a passage that was once closed, not because you lacked readiness, but because powers of envy and opposition attempted to push back against the light residing within you, will now swing wide open. These opposing forces could not alter my ultimate decision concerning you, but they succeeded in slowing its arrival. They could not change the path I had ordained for your life, but they managed to cause you to question your own worth and value. Each moment you chose to stand firm against doubt, each time you decided to place your trust in me again despite circumstances, I was preparing a specific blessing meant exclusively for you. The earthly and heavenly convergence. Listen closely, my child. What you are soon to receive does not originate merely from earthly sources or human intervention. It represents the fruit of your steady, consistent walk with me, your choice to maintain trust rather than surrender to despair. Think of it as stepping into a wider sphere of my design for your life, where you will find not only what you need for daily living, but also witness my promises coming to pass in remarkable ways. This blessing was delayed because others felt threatened by the inner strength I had imparted to you, and were concerned that you would advance beyond their level of influence or control. But they fundamentally misunderstood your heart and motivations. Your focus was never on rivalry or competition, never on forcing outcomes through human effort. You simply yielded to my direction and timing. Your consistent, humble trust demonstrated to me that you were prepared for what I intended to release. Do you grasp this profound truth? The things I spoke concerning your path long ago were not visible for an extended time. Not because they were gone or forgotten, but because they were waiting for the precisely right moment to manifest and appear. That moment has arrived. Everything that was held back from you, everything that was presented falsely or unfairly removed from your possession, it is all returning to you now. Not just fragments or pieces, but the complete wholeness. The expansion of divine influence. I miss nothing. I see your unwavering heart and your faithfulness through every season. Now I declare that what seemed invisible and hidden will be set straight and made right. My dear one, what I give you now will extend far beyond your personal life and circumstances. It will touch those around you and impact those yet to come in future generations. This blessing forms part of a much larger plan I have for your life, and what I intend to accomplish through you as my vessel. It will fundamentally change how you perceive yourself and your circumstances, shape what you speak and declare, and strengthen your walk in the spiritual authority I have already placed within you. Paths and opportunities will open before you, not because you forced them through human effort, but because they were divinely prepared and waiting for your arrival. You will enter spaces and places you only discussed privately with me in prayer. You will be received and welcomed in groups where you previously felt you did not belong or fit. Because you have walked humbly before me, I will bring you to the position I always intended for you to occupy. Prepare yourself, not merely to receive what is coming, but to carry the responsibility that accompanies it. This spiritual growth and elevation means wider influence and more souls to care for and minister to, divine guidance and clarity. But you will not walk this new path alone. My Spirit will guide your inner being to sense and discern each step before you take it. You will not need to guess or feel uncertain about direction. The way forward will be clear and unmistakable. Now is the appointed time when I bring clarity to confusion. Now is the moment when I lift you above others' doubts and opinions, so you know completely and without question that I hold you securely in my care. My dear one, stand tall with confidence. Prepare your heart for what approaches. Release the heavy weight of shame, tiredness, and feelings of inadequacy. What I am giving is not reserved for those who consider themselves perfect or flawless. It is designated for those who give themselves completely to me, those who, even when experiencing hurt, fear, or wrestling with doubts, refuse to abandon their faith and keep moving forward. That steady quality of perseverance is precisely why I am now choosing to entrust this good thing to your care. Therefore, be calm and look forward with anticipation. Do not wait with worried questions and anxious thoughts, but with peaceful certainty and confident expectation. The foundation of trust. Open your heart, not because you understand every detail of how things will unfold, but because you trust that I am unchanging in my character and faithful to my word. Receive this blessing, not with uncertain, trembling hands, but with faith that stands on the solid ground of what I have spoken. Then you will witness what was hidden becoming clearly visible. What was held back will now move ahead freely and without obstruction, because I initiated this work in you, and I myself will bring it to beautiful, complete fulfillment, beyond anything you could have imagined or conceived. My dear one, today what existed only as a promise will transform into clear, tangible reality. What was kept back and slowed down in the unseen realm by others' worry and dark plans has now reached the exact time I predetermined for its manifestation. I, your faithful God, who observed your quiet strength through every trial and test, declare to you that the season of waiting concludes now. Those glimpses you experienced when you sensed something good, a breakthrough or divine help, was near, only to have it seem to vanish again, were not merely products of your imagination or wishful thinking. The invisible battle revealed. Those moments were me communicating with you during quiet seasons, showing you what was actually transpiring beyond what your natural eyes could perceive. You felt as though you were receiving only hints and suggestions, but you were actually witnessing a spiritual battle taking place over the path I had planned for your life and the blessings I had marked as rightfully yours. I observed every second of that conflict. Nothing was hidden from my sight. Every time you awakened in the night sensing something was missing or incomplete, every time your heart beat faster as if something significant was approaching, only for the feeling to fade away, these were divine signals. My presence was transmitting messages, direction, and peace to your spirit. But I understand that experiencing disappointment repeatedly sometimes caused you to question those inner promptings. You asked yourself whether those stirrings truly originated from me or were simply reflections of your own desires and hopes. You wondered if you had misinterpreted what you were sensing. But I tell you now with absolute certainty, no, you were not mistaken. Your inner spiritual perception was accurate and correct. What you had not yet seen was that a fierce struggle was taking place just beyond your everyday awareness and understanding. The enemy's defeated strategy. Recently, the adversary who opposes my purposes employed his customary strategy, placing doubts in your mind and whispering discouraging thoughts designed to weary your spirit. He wanted you to conclude that nothing beneficial was approaching, that the good things you hoped for were merely echoes of naive optimism. His goal was to convince you that what belonged to you had disappeared forever, been given to someone else, or was permanently beyond your reach. But my dear one, I do not change. My character remains steady through every storm and trial. I declare with absolute clarity that nobody, no system, no power on earth or in the unseen realm can take what I have determined and decided for you. Understand this fundamental truth. When I bring something forward into manifestation, its arrival does not depend on others being kind to you or on how circumstances are arranged in this world. The portion I have set aside for you, written down by me in my own eternal records, cannot be canceled, cannot be diminished, and cannot be transferred to anyone else. I am completely just and fair in all my dealings. I determine the right time for everything to unfold. I do not allow anyone who has persevered without surrendering to leave empty-handed, without receiving what is owed to them according to my promises. Breaking free from limited perception. Do not allow what you observe in current circumstances to confuse you any longer. Do not let the extended periods of apparent silence cause you to think I have stopped speaking or working on your behalf. While you might have thought nothing was happening during those quiet seasons, everything has been moving forward according to my perfect timing. Do you know why, my dear one? Your readiness for the swift arrival of what is breaking through comes directly from your choice to remain planted and rooted in faith. Even when the sound of my voice felt distant to your ears, even when people around you might have laughed or declared that breakthrough would never come, I allowed them to speak those words. I permitted them to observe and wait. They themselves will witness when I guide you into a season where every single word I have spoken about you begins to manifest simultaneously, all at once, in undeniable fashion. My beloved child, guard your mind carefully now. Do not allow weariness and exhaustion to cause you to accept less than the complete truth I am revealing. Do not let old wounds plant incorrect ideas that would cause you to turn away from the very word I am sending close to you. The imminence of divine fulfillment. What you have longed for is no longer relegated to some distant future. It is not merely something to anticipate for later. It is approaching faster than you could have imagined possible. When it arrives, it will not come as a small sprinkle or modest blessing. It will manifest like one powerful wave after another, until everything that was held back is brought into the light and made entirely whole and complete. My child, I observe you not only when you feel capable and strong, but also during moments when you feel fragile and vulnerable. I know the prayers you could not speak aloud due to overwhelming emotion. I witnessed the times you wanted to quit and give up, but did not because somewhere deep within you, a small spark of trust remained, believing that I would ultimately act on your behalf. Today, I confirm that the time of divine action is now, that action directly involves you and your circumstances. That action represents your life's path becoming clear and beginning to be revealed in tangible ways. Those who once mocked or dismissed you, the situations that felt overwhelming and impossible to handle, the moments you were overlooked or set aside without reasonable explanation, all of it will become proof and evidence of my supernatural work, not for you to triumph over others in pride, but so that my name receives honor and glory. Not for you to boast in your own strength, but so you stand as a living sign that I, the one true God, do not forget those who walk faithfully with me. The divine mandate for preparation. I do not remain silent forever, and I do not allow any word I have spoken to you to fail or fall to the ground unfulfilled. Therefore, prepare yourself thoroughly. Ready your heart once again. Clear your inner and outer space to welcome what I am about to send forth into your life. Think again about the hopes you once released or let go of in disappointment. Gather the clear visions and dreams you thought were broken beyond repair. It is precisely in this period that I will infuse them with my life-giving power, causing what appeared lost and dead to become vibrantly alive once more. What felt completely out of reach will become the starting point of something fresh and new. My beloved child, in this moment, as you encounter these words that might seem random or coincidental, know that something much larger and more significant is quietly moving forward behind the scenes. A sacred communication, not written by human hands, but confirmed by my power from the heavenly realm, is being swiftly dispatched to you. It travels from my domain, cutting through the confusion and deception that was designed to keep you from seeing clearly. This represents a serious declaration from my realm, confirming the path I established for you before anything else existed in creation. The unseen divine orchestration. You were unaware that behind the scenes I had already begun sending this breakthrough your direction. Its arrival is not bound or limited by your world's natural rules and limitations. Yet every move you have made recently, every time you chose not to surrender to despair, every tearful prayer sent my way, has triggered a sequence of events I have not revealed to you before. Now, even today, which might feel like any other ordinary day, the power of my heavenly realm is about to make itself known in undeniable fashion. Oh, my child, I understand completely the weariness your heart feels from waiting so long for breakthrough. I have watched you attempt to hope, only to fall back into what felt like endless cycles of disappointment. But do not allow your exhaustion to blur your spiritual vision. What is approaching, unstoppable by any opposing power, will be placed directly in your path. As you receive and hold it, your innermost being will tremble with recognition. Your spirit will awaken from slumber, and you will weep, not from sadness, but from deep reverence for the unending truth of my promises, the tangible proof of divine faithfulness. That divine communication represents more than just a reminder of my promise to you. It serves as solid, tangible proof that what I speak always comes to pass without fail. As you read it, you will discover things you thought I had forgotten or overlooked, old declarations about your destiny that were stored away and hidden from view, aspirations you felt had died over time due to circumstances, words that once ignited your spirit but were extinguished by negative surroundings and opposition. Everything will suddenly burst into vibrant life once again. At that moment of revelation, you will realize with crystal clarity that I remembered everything. My timing was always perfect. I was simply waiting for the exact right moment, when my full light could be displayed without anything standing in the way or diminishing its impact. Along with this restoration comes something you did not anticipate, a holy transfer of influence and authority. I am not merely compensating you for what you lost, nor am I only providing what you needed but could not ask for. I am entrusting you with a higher position of influence, a spiritual role you were not ready to carry until this present moment. But now, having passed through seasons of growth and maturation, having found healing from past wounds, having chosen kindness over bitterness and harshness, you are fully able to steward what I am placing in your hands. The divine preparation process revealed. You will be amazed not only by the magnitude of what I am giving, but by seeing how every step of your journey was strategically leading you to this exact point. Being rejected and turned away, doors closing that you thought you needed to walk through, relationships you believed were essential but that ended in disappointment. These all served a specific purpose. Each one represented a necessary component of the holy process of preparing you for this moment. Now, as I place this stewardship into your care, I am also positioning you in a new place within the unfolding of my sacred purpose for your life. My child, prepare your spirit not merely to receive but to hold and carry responsibility. Not to display or show off, but to be genuinely useful in my kingdom. What I am placing in your hands is not a prize awarded for personal success, but a resource entrusted to one I have set apart for sacred service. This is not a trophy to be admired from a distance, but tangible proof that you are moving beyond simply receiving good things for yourself. You are becoming a conduit through which my goodness flows to reach and bless others. The greater purpose unveiled. My purpose in choosing you was never solely for your personal elevation and benefit, but so that others would also be lifted up and blessed through your life and ministry. Where you were once broken will become the very place where others discover their healing and restoration. You will encounter names that surprise you, some individuals you have never met personally, but who have been lifting you up in faithful prayer, those who stood silently in intercession for you when your own strength was completely gone. Even some who once walked away from you will witness your rising, not so they might feel shame or regret, but to demonstrate to them the reality of my power and faithfulness. Now, my dear one, as this message draws closer to you, do not be afraid of what is arriving. Do not allow the voice of doubt to take hold of your thoughts. Do not tell yourself you are inadequate or unworthy, because this blessing is not based on personal perfection or flawless performance. It is founded upon your steady trust and faithfulness to me, even when no human eyes were watching or acknowledging your devotion. I observed everything, and I am now bringing forth the harvest of what I witnessed during those hidden seasons of faithfulness, the removal of all barriers. Understand this with complete clarity. Every barrier that has been blocking your understanding is now removed. Everything that prevented you from seeing clearly has been set aside. When you fully grasp this truth, the very atmosphere around you will feel different and charged with divine presence. My spiritual realm will become more real and tangible to you than ever before. The very air you breathe will feel alive with the presence of my kingdom. For I, who brought all things into existence, am implementing this plan according to my perfect design. The appointed moment has arrived. It is time for you to emerge from where you have been hidden and overlooked. It is time for you to stop living as if hope and blessing are not meant for you. Now is the moment for you to step confidently into the full place I have prepared. You, the one I have chosen, the one I hold dear, who belongs entirely to me, the sacred nature of this moment. My cherished one, do not treat this moment lightly or casually. This represents a sacred point in your spiritual journey, meant to settle deeply within your spirit and transform your understanding. Here is the clear dividing line where what was unjustly taken from you ends, and what I am restoring begins. more real and substantial than it ever was before. Do not overlook the significance of this timing. At this very moment, as my unseen realm connects with your natural life and spiritual conditions are shifting dramatically, you are witnessing a turning point that only those who remain close to me can truly understand in its sacred importance and eternal significance. Some eyes are watching you now, not with genuine kindness, but with sharp, calculating focus. Those who once paid you no attention, who dismissed you as unworthy of notice, are now observing your every step and movement, not out of concern for your well-being, but because they are afraid that what they were absolutely certain would never occur is now taking place, right before their eyes. They were convinced you would never rise above your circumstances. They believed your future was hopelessly lost, buried beneath past difficulties and your seasons of quiet waiting. But this crucial fact remained unknown to them. I, who govern every moment of time, have never withdrawn a single declaration I made concerning your destiny. The hidden opposition exposed. Do you understand that during moments when you felt overlooked and invisible, there were individuals who used your apparent quietness to spread hurtful, damaging words about you? They whispered malicious gossip. They ridiculed your faith and dreams, and they claimed you did not belong among those who walk righteously before me. They did not simply doubt your potential. They actively worked to conceal and block your opportunities, using words specifically designed to discourage and halt your progress. These harsh, cutting words did not only damage how others perceive you, they created spiritual openings for trouble to reach you and hinder my purposes for your life. Some individuals, appearing as helpers, friends, or even fellow believers, secretly aligned themselves with hidden powers that sought to maintain control over your circumstances. They employed methods not originating from me, seeking influence through means outside my will to cause you weariness, cloud your judgment, and burden your spirit with deep, inexplicable sadness. They believed they could trap you in discouragement, turning your natural tiredness into a weapon to use against your faith and vision. But their calculations were fundamentally wrong. Every hidden scheme plotted against you is now completely canceled. Every place where wrong spiritual power was exercised has been rendered powerless. The cleansing and restoration. Anywhere curses were spoken over your name, anywhere harmful practices were employed to hold you back or bind your progress, those spiritual strongholds are now thoroughly cleared and cleansed. My power has shattered them completely. More than that, what kept your name from being known and recognized has been removed entirely. Your reputation was bound by false labels, seen through the lens of one destined not to succeed. But I have removed that lying label and made your name pure and clean before me. Your name, once delayed by extended waiting, rejection, and the fear of not being recognized or acknowledged, is now spoken clearly in my presence with honor. I have declared this name is mine. This name carries importance and significance. This name belongs to one who remains steadfast with me. My cherished one, do not be disturbed or shaken as hidden things become clear and exposed. People who appeared good but harbored secret intentions against you will be revealed for who they truly are. Relationships you believed originated from me, but were actually being used to hinder your spiritual progress, will end naturally. The divine purification process. Certain paths and connections will close quickly and decisively. Do not grieve their closing or feel loss. You are not losing anything of value. I am preparing the space where you will receive what I am bringing to you. There is no longer room in your life for things that are not aligned with righteousness, or for connections not truly born of my Spirit. Right now you will discover that those who sought to keep you bound in limitation can no longer disturb your inner peace and tranquility. The troubling dreams that disrupted your sleep, the unexplained weariness you felt upon waking, the sudden moments of fear and anxiety, these manifestations will cease entirely. The enemy's grip has been released. The spiritual battle has concluded. You have prevailed and emerged victorious. You are not alone in this effort any longer. You do not need to hide or retreat to find safety and security. Divine advocacy and protection. I am your source of strength and power. I speak on your behalf as your advocate. When I stand alongside you, no one can oppose you without first opposing me directly. Be firm and resolute now, my cherished one. Do not give way to wrong influences that attempt to draw near. Do not retreat because of wounds from the past. You are much more than a mere survivor of difficult circumstances. You are the one I deliberately chose not just to get by or barely make it through, but to live completely and abundantly. You are the one who passes through difficulties entirely unharmed and untouched by lasting damage. You will stand clearly visible before others, unaffected by their opinions or judgments of you. I declare to you, beginning from this day forward, every harmful word spoken concerning you will be turned around and used for your benefit. The predictions that declared your failure will become the foundation for testimonies of my miraculous work in your life. The words that brought you to tears will serve as evidence I use to demonstrate truth and vindicate your faith. The pathways that were blocked against you, I myself will open completely and permanently. No power will ever succeed in closing them again. The broader significance revealed. My cherished one, listen closely to what stirs within your spirit. What is being revealed through this message is not intended for you alone. It carries significance for the spiritual journey of many others who will be touched by your testimony. This is my word to you, certain and true, given at the precisely right moment when your spirit is prepared to receive its full meaning and impact. When you open your heart to embrace it, you will discover a history and heritage, a legacy that belonged to you, but was concealed by deception, constructed over time by the one who stands in opposition to me. This represents truth that was hidden not because of your mistakes or failures, but due to a long pattern of spiritual deception, betrayed trust, and deliberate harm that began before your birth, affected your parents and ancestors, and reached into the deepest part of your being and family line. But today I declare that the moment for correction and restoration has arrived. Shadows can no longer conceal the truth from view. What has been kept silent and hidden can no longer remain covered. For I, who know all moments and seasons, have declared its time of unveiling. The generational breakthrough. My divine command is clear. What was stolen from my child must be returned with full restitution. Perhaps you assumed this moment concerned solely receiving material wealth, that I was simply providing financial resources to compensate for past hardships and losses. But my dear child, the gift I am bringing forth far exceeds mere riches or monetary compensation. This represents much more than currency or material goods. This divine act corrects a deep spiritual imbalance that has burdened your family line across multiple generations. It signifies the conclusion of a persistent hindrance, a hidden spiritual current that caused those who came before you to stumble and fall just as they approached significant breakthrough and progress. Can you recall the genuine aspirations and dreams of your parents? How promising opportunities appeared within reach, only to dissolve and disappear due to influences they could not perceive or understand. Their struggles were not the result of laziness or lack of effort. They contended with forces far exceeding their natural strength, an adversary operating in the shadows of the spiritual realm. A portion of what was rightfully theirs according to divine inheritance was removed from your family lineage, not through open confrontation, but through deceptive agreements, hidden contracts, and unseen spiritual bonds agreed upon without their knowledge or consent. Divine justice and restoration. I have observed these events unfold throughout generations. I know exactly who was responsible for the theft and deception, the damaging pledges made in ignorance, the concealed actions taken in darkness. The spiritual forces that declared your family would remain suppressed and limited, all stand completely exposed before my omniscient sight. Understand that my decisions are always rooted in truth and justice, never in mere favoritism or partiality. Following my thorough review of all circumstances, and after my presence has moved powerfully within your life, a divine determination has been reached this day. I declare my complete support for you and your cause. I am demonstrating what is right and just, and you stand as clear evidence of my righteous judgment. Not because you achieved perfection, but because you refused to surrender hope. Not because you surpassed others in achievement, but because you held steady and remained faithful even in your deepest pain and confusion. I observed your prayers offered not merely for yourself, but for your entire family lineage. I witnessed your tears shed for those you held dear, whose lives were marked by prolonged sorrow and unfulfilled longing. Because of your heart of intercession and your refusal to become bitter, I will restore not only what was designated for you personally, but also what was intended for those who came before you in your family line. This restoration will flow through you as the chosen vessel. You are selected to break this generational pattern of limitation and defeat. You will transition from a state of restriction into a state of abundance and overflow. The progress you are about to witness will not merely elevate your personal circumstances, it will extend outward like ripples on water, revitalizing what was barren and restoring what was once deemed irretrievable and lost forever. The generational deliverance. Consider this breakthrough as deliverance, not for a single individual, but for your entire ancestral lineage. Within the divine communication you are destined to receive, you will encounter declarations and promises you once deemed unimaginable and beyond possibility. It will affirm and confirm what belongs to you by divine right, validating an intention and purpose that was established before the earth's foundation was laid. You will experience profound reverence and awe, understanding that this is not a random bestowal of favor. Rather, it represents a sign of triumph that was designated specifically for you before time began. What faded from human memory and recollection, I have preserved perfectly in my eternal, timeless record. What was rejected and dismissed by the world, I have inscribed according to my sovereign design and perfect will. As you absorb and receive this revelation, you will understand with absolute clarity that I have always seen you, always known you, and always had plans for your ultimate good. Prepare yourself thoroughly. When this divine word arrives in your life, do not perceive it merely with your natural eyes or process it only through human understanding. Receive it with your spirit, allowing it to penetrate the deepest parts of your being. Every expression and phrase carries profound spiritual weight. Every element contributes to a holy restoration that has been long awaited. When you have received it fully and allowed it to transform your perspective, you will know beyond doubt that the season of restraint, delay, and denial has reached its complete end. I am initiating a fresh beginning in your life, and you are the vessel I have selected to commence and demonstrate this new work. The divine transformation. I am fundamentally altering the narrative of what has been written over your family, and you represent the initial indication and proof of this dramatic change. I am demonstrating what is right and just through your circumstances, and you stand as clear evidence of my faithfulness to those who trust in me. Therefore, release all doubt and uncertainty from your heart and mind. Do not permit old memories of failure and disappointment to diminish the new hope that is rising within you. Do not allow the voices that once dismissed and mocked you to drown out my clear pronouncement from the heavenly realm. Your position has been validated and confirmed. You have been released from every chain that bound you, and now you will recover and reclaim what is rightfully yours, both what was set aside for you personally and what was intended for those who will come after you in future generations. Precisely as I declared and promised in earlier ages, through you, the generational struggle will end. Through you, the family lineage will be elevated and restored. Through you, my radiance and glory will penetrate the places that were once veiled in spiritual darkness. The heart of divine understanding. My beloved, I know completely and intimately the thoughts that have weighed heavily on you throughout this extended period of waiting. I have observed the silent nights you endured without rest, lying awake and wondering why others seemed to progress effortlessly, while you felt frozen at the starting point of your dreams. I have heard every quiet sigh of exhaustion when you were alone with your thoughts and emotions. At times your heart gently wondered if I had indeed overlooked you, if you had somehow been bypassed or forgotten in the distribution of blessings and opportunities. But my cherished one, that was never the truth of the matter. Those subtle uncertainties and questions did not originate from me or reflect my heart toward you. They were echoes of spiritual warfare, made stronger and more convincing during seasons of delay and apparent silence. Now I come to completely dismantle those lies with truth, directly from my dwelling place. Today, circumstances will shift dramatically, not according to your limited vision or preferred timing, but as I, the sovereign ruler over all moments and seasons, decided long before you even knew my name or called upon me. The divine perspective on timing, or I did not overlook you or forget about your needs. Instead, you were held separate and protected, not because you were abandoned, but because you were undergoing careful preparation for this specific season when you would step forward into your destiny. My child, that season has finally arrived. Events are beginning to unfold according to divine design. What was humble and overlooked will be exalted and honored. Those who regarded you with disdain and contempt will now demonstrate respect as I lift you by my supernatural power. The doors and entrances that were closed against you will now swing open completely. Not because people's hearts and attitudes changed toward you, but because I have declared that this pathway belongs to you by divine right, and nothing in heaven or earth can close what I have commanded to remain open. The pronouncements and predictions that deemed you unsuccessful and destined for failure will be silenced by the mighty works I will demonstrate in your existence. For in a single moment, at a point in time that I choose, everything can be completely transformed and turned around. This day marks that very moment of divine intervention. You once believed you had lost my approval and favor, that every promise spoken over your life had dissolved like vapor in the wind. But the coming divine communication will serve as undeniable proof from my dwelling place that I have never withdrawn any commitment or promise I made to you. The certainty of divine promises. Every word I spoke stands firm and unshakable. Every promise has been held securely in my eternal purposes. They have simply awaited the precise season to manifest and become tangible in your daily experience. Now I declare with absolute authority, it is accomplished. The season of delay, obscurity, and restriction has concluded. What was hidden will now be revealed clearly. What was hindered will now accelerate beyond your expectations. What was removed will now be fully restored with compound interest. But there exists a vital truth I need you to grasp firmly, for it will sustain you during this critical transition. My presence within you confirms this reality. The messenger bearing this transformative word may not be the person you anticipate or expect. Do not depend on your natural intellect to discern this divine appointment. Do not place your expectation upon a familiar face or trusted relationship. My supernatural intervention is not founded upon your predictions or assumptions, but upon what I reveal from my sovereign position and perfect timing. The unexpected nature of divine intervention. The individual I have selected to bring this life-changing word to you might not resemble anyone you have known before in your experience. They might not come from the source you anticipate, and their appearance might not fit the mental picture you have formed in your imagination. For I work in ways that defy human prediction and understanding. I am the one who brings about extraordinary outcomes through paths you would least expect, achieving miraculous things you could never imagine or conceive. You must keep your inner being open and receptive, not merely to the blessing I provide, but also to the unconventional way I choose to provide it. I might use someone you considered quite ordinary and unremarkable to introduce a remarkable new chapter in your life. I might arrange for a person you have never met to bring the vital message that sets you completely free from past limitations. If you cling too tightly to preconceived notions about how things ought to unfold, you risk missing what I am presently revealing and manifesting. Therefore, listen with your deepest spiritual perception. Observe with eyes that grasp eternal truth rather than temporary circumstances. Receive divine revelation not through emotional reaction, but through the clear understanding that originates directly from my spirit. The divine timing revealed. My cherished one, I was never delayed or late in my response to your needs. Certain matters required time to settle into their proper positions and arrangements. Inner hindrances needed to be cleared away completely. Obstacles that stood blocking your pathway had to be systematically removed. Now, with everything prepared and positioned correctly, I am not sending a vague concept or abstract idea. I am dispatching a definite, concrete assurance regarding your calling and purpose. This word will release you from every chain that has bound you. It will initiate a series of supernatural openings in your life. This divine communication signals the beginning of your new season, a season where spiritual darkness is completely banished, where doubt is eliminated, where loss becomes a thing of the past. Allow your heart to feel the tremendous weight and significance of this moment, not from fear or anxiety, but from a deep sense of its sacred nature and eternal importance. This is not the result of mere chance or fortunate coincidence. At this precise time chosen by me, I am silencing every voice raised against you and breaking every bond that has restrained your progress. I declare with absolute authority, you are the one I have equipped and empowered for the restoration of what was stolen and removed. The divine watch and protection. I am attentively present around you now, carefully watching over this moment of divine clarity and revelation. This represents a time I have set apart as sacred, when what has been unseen will become clearly visible and undeniable. Let perfect peace settle into your heart and mind. What I require of you in this crucial hour is beautifully simple, yet holds profound meaning and significance. I ask for your trust, complete, unwavering trust. Trust that I have never forgotten you, even during the longest and most difficult seasons. Trust that this word finds you not by accident or coincidence, but by divine appointment. Trust that, as you receive these words, you are standing in a sacred meeting place that I prepared specifically for this encounter. This moment will not merely stir your emotions temporarily, but will fundamentally change the trajectory and direction your life is traveling. Trust that everything you have sensed within your spirit, the dreams that returned repeatedly, the small signs you noticed, the stirring in your heart when you contemplated your purpose, none of it was imagined or wishful thinking. The divine leading confirmed. These inner promptings represented my quiet leading, guiding you steadily to this precise point of breakthrough and revelation. Now, I am not merely speaking promises for the future. I am taking decisive action in the present moment. This is no longer simply a pledge or commitment. It represents the beginning of its complete fulfillment and manifestation. You will witness this divine intervention unfold before your eyes. Begin to notice the small changes that are already starting to occur. Where things felt held back and restricted, they will begin to move freely and without obstruction. Connections you thought were permanently lost will be renewed and restored. Places you never imagined visiting or accessing will become open and available to you, not for your personal acclaim or self-promotion, but to position you securely in the place I designed for you, within my greater purpose and plan. These gifts, both visible and invisible, will awaken strengths and abilities within you that you were hesitant to use or develop. They will draw you from places where you felt safe and comfortable before, establishing you firmly in the position I always intended for you to occupy. There you will walk not as one still searching and seeking, but as one who confidently possesses what belongs to them. You will no longer need to ask permission or seek approval from others. You will step into your inheritance without hesitation, moving with the spiritual authority I have granted you from the heavenly realm. The divine acknowledgement. My beloved child, you have remained faithful and stayed the course through every test and trial. You have listened attentively to my voice. You have endured patiently through extended seasons of waiting, even when the waiting seemed endless and the path forward remained unclear. I have observed your heart, the genuine seeking within you, the spiritual hunger that refused to be silenced by delay or disappointment. Your faithfulness, though unseen and unacknowledged by many people around you, has been carefully recorded before my throne in heaven. Now hear this divine decree, for the appointed hour has arrived, the moment is set. This is not a time for hesitation or uncertainty, nor for clinging to the shadows of past disappointment and failure. What I am releasing carries tremendous significance. It is not merely for your personal comfort and convenience, but bears the weight of a sacred assignment and divine commission. You are called to step boldly into this new season, to carry this spiritual inheritance not just for yourself, but to serve as a conduit of blessing for others, for your family lineage, and for a generation that hungers for authentic truth and genuine spiritual breakthrough. The sacred moment of transition. Allow the truth of this moment to settle deeply within your spirit, like seed planted in good soil. Feel the shift occurring, the stirring that confirms what I speak is real and intended specifically for you at this time. That inner witness bears testimony that this is not mere human encouragement, but divine intervention. Prepare your heart to receive what has been delayed and held back. Ready yourself to walk in the spiritual authority I am restoring to you. Position yourself to stand as a living testimony of my unfailing justice and faithfulness to those who trust in me. I am with you personally in this unveiling and revelation. I will guide your steps through my Holy Spirit and illuminate the path ahead with divine light. The work I have begun in you, I will bring to complete and perfect fulfillment. Therefore, my dear child, rise up in confident trust and expectation. Accept what is coming not merely with your physical hands, but with a spirit characterized by deep gratitude and reverent respect. This approaching moment is holy, set apart specifically for you, who have made yourself ready through patient endurance. The divine conclusion. It is not delayed beyond its proper time. It is not a mistake or error in timing. It is not intended for another person. This blessing, this breakthrough, this restoration bears your name and your spiritual DNA. Receive my perfect peace, my protective covering, and the supernatural strength you need to carry this new responsibility and stewardship. Stand firm and immovable, my beloved, for my favor and blessing rest upon you in this sacred hour. The season of preparation has ended. The time of manifestation has begun. What was promised in secret will now be proclaimed openly. What was delayed will now arrive with divine acceleration. What belonged to you will now be restored completely. This is my word to you, faithful one. This is my promise, sealed with my character and guaranteed by my unchanging nature. As surely as I live and reign forever, so shall these things come to pass in your life. The waiting is over. The breakthrough has come. Your time is now. Stand ready. Stand expectant. Stand in faith. For I, the Lord your God, have spoken, and my word never returns void, but accomplishes everything I intend. Amen.